Okay, so we are recording. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to go first, then the lovely Selena, then Samira and Pascal are going to speak, and we're just going to give you kind of our biggest takeaways from the event. We don't want to take up too much of your time because obviously this was a really long event, so we could go on forever for days about this, but we're going to just try and get right to the point, give you some key details. And after each segment, we'll give you a quick time to see if you want to ask questions. And if you want to, you can just write them down and save them to the end as well. That's fine. But we'll give you some time between when each person speaks, just to kind of, if you have any quick questions. So I'll just get started. So there's so many things that I took away, but some of the key things I wanted to say, Jackson Parr's cake recipe for the why, because their why makes them buy. So with me, it's kind of funny because even when I rewatched the video today, and he was talking about how there was a lot of people who were enrolling people, and there was a lot of people who weren't enrolling people. But this kind of brings it together. Like there's some people, like me at first, when I would enroll people, and then the retention wasn't always there. And so basically you'd get your PIB, your double PIB, which is great, but that's not the point of residual income. Residual income, you want to have retention, you want to keep your teammates there, you want to keep them ordering, and you want to help them get their products paid for. So you want to make sure that you don't just sign someone up and then say, see it. You want to help them out, right? So that is why this really helped me, and it also helped a lot of other people because some people just couldn't get those enrollments. So this is kind of brings both of those fields kind of together. So yeah, you want to be duplicatable, you want residual income. So I encourage all of you guys, he has a 30-minute video on this. Watch it. I know with me, especially in the beginning, when I see half-hour videos, I like ran the other way because I didn't want to sit there for half hour. But this is really worth your time. So you just Google Jackson Parr cake recipe and it'll come up, and I'll share this again. It's already shared. Samira shared it in T-Mobi, but I'll share it in our group chat. So he talks about 7 steps. I'm just going to briefly go over it because what a lot of us were taught to do and what a lot of us still do, and it does work sometimes it doesn't, but we've tapped into the logic part of people's brains, which is saying, and for me, I'm such a logical thinker that made sense to me, and it's been working for enrollments, but it wasn't working as well for retention, and I couldn't really figure out the missing piece. And for me, it's kind of bringing his idea and this logic idea kind of together. So the logic part was Eden Sloman's, her steps talking about, I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's our script in Team Freedom and Team Mobi, asking them what they eat now, how much it's costing them, showing them the price comparison to what they'll really be doing. And that's tapping into their logic emotions, their logic side of the brain, which Jackson mentions is a lot more apt to be objected. People when people think logic, then they start just thinking and overthinking things. Quick side note, I created a file for the 7 steps of my team group. I can share it in Team Freedom. Yeah, so we're going to share the video, and you guys can watch the video, but we're going to go over these steps as well. So the 7 steps, the first, you want to kind of dig into their why and dig into their emotions. So once you go more on the emotion side, it creates a lot more value to people. So the 7 steps, the questions you want to ask them, the first question, can I ask you a few questions to see if I can help? I'm not going to go too into details about this because I want you guys to go watch the video because I can't explain this as well as Jackson Parr can explain it because I'm just learning it myself. So once they say they need help, they want weight loss, can I ask you a few questions to see if I can help? Question 2, what is your ultimate goal? Question 3, what are your 2 or 3 target areas? So first you want to talk about how many pounds, or he talks about kilos, or how many pounds are you looking to lose? Okay, so what are your 2 or 3 target areas? Oh, my stomach and my thighs or whatever. Question 4, why? What makes you uncomfortable about these body parts? And he talks about how this is really important because this makes people really dig into their own emotions of why is it important? Why do I really want to feel skinnier? Why do I want to tone my stomach? Why is this such a problem area for me? So it really starts tapping into those emotions. Question 5, how long have you felt this way? He says this is also so important because people are going to be like, oh my God, I felt this way for 5 years. And then it doesn't make sense for them to be like, no, I don't want to buy this, but I've been feeling this way for 5 years. Question 6, do you have do you have something to work towards? Do you have a goal? Do you want to look better for summer? Do you have a wedding? And then he talks about how would you feel if, and this is the most important one, because I say in 2 months I have a wedding to go to, my target areas were my thighs and my stomach. And he's like, how would you feel if you walked into that wedding wearing a short dress and those thighs weren't a problem to you anymore, and you felt so you felt so good with your stomach, you didn't have to wear Spanx anymore. Just things like that, where you're really kind of tapping into their emotions, and that makes it more of an emotional vibe, which really will get you that enrollment, and it'll help you build retention, because then they'll really be more focused towards their goal. And when you follow up with them, you can really kind of be more one-on-one with them. You really understand their why a lot more. Oh, people are writing. We're just going to explain our takeaways from the event in Vancouver. Yeah, so we're just talking about our biggest takeaways. So this for me, the 7 steps by Jackson Parr, the cake recipe, is going to be something that I've already started implementing it, and I've gotten almost every person I've talked to about it, I've almost enrolled. And I have a lot more of a better connection with them, because you understand their why, you understand why they're doing it, and that'll be better for my follow-ups, and it'll be better for them as well. So everyone go watch it, Jackson Parr, cake recipe. Okay, so that was one of my biggest takeaways. There's something else, there's a couple more things I just want to touch on. This is something that we haven't really done a lot in our team. When I first enrolled, there was a new associate checklist is what it was called. And it wasn't the best. It kind of got to the point, it got you to be able to talk to them and started a conversation, but it wasn't the best. And they've actually called it a new member checklist now, and they've revamped it. So it's really good now. I encourage every one of you to print it and practice with your sponsor, practice with a teammate, and really get the conversation flowing about it, because I find that's what we did in one of the trainings, is we talked about it and we had a conversation. And once you really understand the questions, it doesn't sound so like 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get it going right away and have the conversation flowing. So practice with your team, and then make sure you print out the roadmap to exec with them, and make sure you help them. Really grab five or 6 people and really run with them. And I think someone else is going to touch base on this, but make sure you give a lot to a smaller amount of people instead of a little bit to everyone, which is kind of something that I was struggled with. The next thing I want to touch on, and I'm just going to go quickly through this. It's recorded, don't worry. Creating your story. So this is important, because I know a lot of you guys, when you get talking to people, you don't know what to say. You get caught up and you just kind of mumble. So create a story and practice with everyone. Try and tell every single person you talk to your story. Kathy talked about the 5 steps for creating your story, talking about your background, what you didn't like about it, how you found a solution, how you feel about your future, and end with a question. The question she gave us to end with was, I am looking for motivated people with a burning desire that want to improve their health and make an extra income. Do you know anyone? So that doesn't mean you're targeting it to them. They could say, oh, actually, that's me. Or, oh, yeah, I know someone else. Don't be afraid to ask for a referral. I know I'm going really fast, but I just want to go over this quickly. So I'll make a file for that as well, creating your story. And if you don't know what I mean and you're not sure how to do this, because we spent a lot of time on it, reach out to me or reach out to your sponsor or reach out to any one of these girls who are at the event, because they can walk you through it. And the final thing, this is something I was always scared to do, but Jackson Parr talked about it, printing your friends list and just starting conversations with them all to open the door. There's a lot of people who may be watching you, but they're really nervous to reach out to you for whatever reason, because they haven't had that open communication yet. But you don't need to message them and every single person and say, I think you'd be really great for this business. I think these products would be useful to you. It's just starting a conversation like, oh, I seen you went to this movie. On a rating of 1 to 10, what would you give it? Because I'm thinking about going to see it for a date night. That just starts a conversation. You don't need to bring up Isagenix at all in that conversation, but now that open line of communication is there. And he even printed out his top income earners on his team, and they were all on the A's on his friends list, because those are the people he reached out to first, and they ended up taking initiative. They ended up talking to him about the business, and now they're top income earners. So the Facebook friends list is something I'm going to do, and I'm going to try and get all of us to do it. I'm going to make a little group, and we're going to do something fun with it, but that's something that I really think we should implement a lot more. And then I'm quickly going to talk about ISA Rally at the end. But does anyone have any quick questions on those things I mentioned before I pass it on to Selena? You can pop it in the chat or just unmute yourself. Okay, and you can save it to the end too if you think of something. All right, Selena, take the floor.
All right. Hi, everyone. So what I'm going to be talking about is about connecting and prospecting, and that was with Jackson Parr as well. If you guys don't know who Jackson Parr is, he maxed out his Isagenix business within 15 months, and now he's a multimillionaire at the age of 30. He only started Isagenix 5 years ago, so he's doing crazy well. And basically, in your business, you'll notice that there's 4 types of prospects that you will be getting. So a lot of people come up to me and say, well, like, I'm making a post and like not a lot of people are liking it, not a lot of people are commenting, and that's normal because there's 4 types of people. There's the people who will comment on your posts, and imagine those people that are commenting on your posts. It takes a lot of courage for them to actually comment publicly. The second type of person is the people who private message you. So it takes even more courage to admit to someone that they need a solution. The third type of person is the people who are simply not interested, and that's fine. The fourth type of person, that's when where the majority of people are lying in. It's the type of people where you need, like me, I would need to open the door for them. So that means that that's the people who are watching your journey. That's the people who are stalking you, which you don't know. It's the people who don't like or comment on your statuses. So what you have to do is open the door and connect with them first, kind of what Whitney talked about earlier. So you have to open up the floor for them. You ask different questions, you connect with them, kind of like saying, oh, I saw that you went to go see Black Panther last night. How was it? And what were your thoughts? They kind of have like no choice to answer. Who wouldn't respond to that? A lot of the mistakes I made in the beginning was I was connecting the wrong way with people. So what I would usually say to people was, hey, long time no talk, how are you? And then people are like, well, what do you want? Like, they won't say that, but they're like, what the hell do you want and how much money does it cost? That's their first thought. So what you want to really do is you want to build a real connection with them, and you don't want to go empty-handed to them. A solution to that would be stalking them. So how you would connect with them would be stalking them. Kind of like you saw the other day that they went to go see Black Panther. That's a great way to start a conversation. There's all kinds of ways, there's trillions of ways really to connect with someone. So like Whitney mentioned, printing out a Facebook list is super essential. And you also want to speak to every person that you know about Isagenix in a genuine way. So not just the people that you think might be interested. That was my issue in the beginning. I was like, well, I've talked to everyone. Like, I have nobody else to talk to. There's legit millions of people out there that don't know about Isagenix. It could be a taxi driver, a bus driver, your hostess at the restaurant, your waitress. There's a ton of people out there where you can make a quick connection with. Another one of his methods, there was the cake recipe that Whitney talked about, and there was the past, present, future method that Jackson Parr talked to us about. And this is really, really easy if you can't remember the cake recipe. It's just three steps. So let's say that I'm talking to a waitress at the restaurant, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize the past, present, future questions. So I'm at the restaurant, and I establish a past question. So for example, how long have you been working here? That's a past question. They'll say, oh, I've been working here for 2 years. So then you ask a present question. Wow, you must really enjoy it. You've been here for 2 years. And most people are going to be like, no, I don't enjoy my job at all. A job's a job. So then that's when the future question comes in, and you say something like, can you see yourself working here for the next 15 to 20 years? And most people are going to say no. So that's when it really comes in handy. You can open up the door for them and say, well, if I could show you a way to change that, would you be open to it? And that's when you can easily introduce Isagenix. I also wrote down a couple of millionaire tips. Hello. Couple of millionaire tips that they talked about. So they had a panel of 4 amazing millionaires at the end of the conference. And they said, I'm just going to read them quickly. So you want to do things that are uncomfortable. You want to get clear on your why, like Whitney talked about, the 5 questions. You want to make sure that your vision is bigger than your struggles. A lot of people are going to have excuses and quit. You want to set You don't want to set goals of enrollments. That's what Jackson Parr told us. You don't want to set goal of enrollments because that can deceive people. So instead, you could set goals of how many connections you make in a day, how many teams
I'm going to touch base on that later.
Oh, awesome. And how many videos to send to people, how many times you bake cakes in a day. So those are different types of goals that you can have instead of having enrollments, because that can be deceiving sometimes because not everyone's ready at that point when you talk to them. Another thing that Whitney mentioned was to do the new member checklist within 24 to 48 hours of talking to someone or enrolling them. Also, that you want to share the vision of executive roadmap, plus at least showing them how to cycle 10 times a week, show them how to 1 star, and just to show it to everyone. I had a knee shot, so I'm talking super fast. I apologize. What else?
You're doing fantastic, Selena.
I'm talking super, my heart's racing. I don't know why. Okay, last thing was talking about events. Events are truly non-negotiable for everyone, and I hope I see everyone in Nashville in August. So at the event, they talked about that going to events is the highest paying skill in network marketing. You legit learn so many things at events about products, about the business. You learn from the millionaires, all kinds of stuff. And we have fun at the same time. We get to have team dinners, team parties. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. It's so, so fun. And we start every morning with dance parties, which is even awesome, more awesome. Also, going to events, you also want to be the leader you want to attract. So obviously, if I don't go to events myself as a leader, my team's not going to follow me. So you want to be the leader you want to attract. And also, going to events creates FOMO to people. So like, people who aren't in Isagenix are like, oh wow, why is she going to Vegas? Why is she going to Arizona? Why is she going to Vancouver all the time? Seems like she's having a whole bunch of fun. People are looking for this. So that's what I was going to touch base on today.
Yeah, that's really good. You did so great. And I even like to kind of touch base with that. Like, I had someone message me being like, she said, you guys are having so much fun. Like, I've been thinking about using your products for so long. Like, how do I become a member of your team? Just because she sees us having fun, you post on social media. The events are so fun, but they're so abundant. You learn so much, and you get to connect with all these different people. You get to connect with your team. It's just and honestly, just to really quickly touch base on that, I remember for my first year, I was so pushing off events. Holly and Jessica would tell me to go, and I'm like, no, like, they're just trying to, like, I thought to myself, they're just trying to get my money or something, which made no sense because no one gets money. Your ticket is for all of the crazy things. They have all these amazing singers, all this stuff. It's not like Jessica and Holly get a bonus for me going to this event, right? It's really just investing in yourself. So yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of people reached out to me right after Vancouver just wondering, what is this business and why does it look so fun? Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah. Just creating FOMO.
Because it is fun. All right, now we're going to pass it off to Samira. Unless anyone has any questions, any pressing questions right now. Sorry. No? Okay. Sorry, Samira, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Geez, I feel like it's kind of dark, but maybe I should turn the light on. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to talk about, okay, I'm going to mute my phone for a second. So I'm going to talk about Kathy's leadership meeting. There's a couple points that the girls touched base on, but I'm just going to go a little bit more in depth. Firstly, Kathy really focused on writing down your goals. So when she said that when you establish goals, it's easier to hit the target when you see the target as opposed to just thinking about the target. So I want everyone, this is going to be homework, okay? I want everyone to write down what they want to make with Isagenix, let's just say for a yearly income, let's say you have a goal to make $60,000 with Isagenix for this calendar year, for the 2018 calendar year. I want everyone to write it down, and then I want everyone to double it. So the reason being that when you, like Kathy said, when you see this target, like if you were to say you wanted $60,000, so let's say your goal is $100,000. If you write down the $100,000, the chances are of you getting it could be 50,000. So if you double it and you exceed your expectations, then you'll most likely reach the $100,000. So writing down your goals and getting clear on them, that's really important. So Kathy kind of explained two different types of goals, and Selena kind of touched base on this a little bit. So you can have a goal, like let's say, okay, so as we all know, we're all right in the middle of the Crystal Reset. So some of you are gunning for the Crystal Director bonus, which is in 2 weeks, guys. You have 2 weeks left. And the Crystal Executive bonus, which is 6 weeks left. So Kathy, you can have two different types of goals. So you can have like goals specifically for your business or working goals. So let's say that your goal is to enroll 20 new people this month, or between now and the time of the Crystal Reset, or whatever. Let's just say it's 20 new goals this month, or 20 new enrollments this month. So as Selena mentioned, it's kind of deceiving because sometimes people enroll when they have the money or it's just perfect timing for them. And you might not have done any work that week. Like let's say you're like, okay, this week I want to double my PIPs. That's great. That's great that you have that goal. But let's say, you do all your follow-ups and, you put all of this work in and you don't get any enrolls that week. It's not because it's your fault. It's not because you're not doing the right things. It's just because it's timing, people's finances, whatever. So establishing working goals and like specific business goals are two separate criteria that I think we should all be focusing on. So working goals, because Kathy kind of explained, like you could have a week where you don't do any work and you enroll 5 people. Or you can have a week where, yeah, like I said, you put in all this crazy work and you don't enroll anyone. So establishing working goals for the week is better than just enrollment goals. So examples for working goals would be, I'm going to post every day, Motivational Monday, Transformation Tuesday, Wellness Wednesday, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Another goal could be, I'm going to connect with 2 people today, whether it be on Facebook, 2 new people today, either at the grocery store or on Facebook or whatever. We always just need to be establishing working goals. So, and then I had a couple examples of more working goals. So a couple more working goals would be like finish reading books to help you self-develop, because another thing Kathy touched base on was, actually I think this was David Wood. My notes are a little, there's notes everywhere in this book. One of the things that David Wood, another speaker at the Canada Celebration event, he said, your business will only grow if you allow yourself to grow. So obviously the millionaires in this business weren't the same people on the inside, like mentally, that they were when they first started. So it's important to realize you need to do a lot of self-development. So things like reading books or, just studying the products, product knowledge, things like that. You need to grow in order to allow your business to grow. So one of my goals was finish reading a couple books. Like I have Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. For as long as I've had this book, GoPro, like the Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional by Eric Warr, I still am not done reading it. How crazy is that? And since Celebration Canada, I was like, okay, no, I need to just be disciplined and finish reading this book. So those are just a couple examples of like working goals, because we don't want to set, I'm going to double my PIBs this week. You enroll 1 person and then you get super down on yourself. like the trick is just not getting too disappointed in yourself when you don't reach specific business goals, because remember, it's not you, it's necessarily, it's timing, people's financial situations, if they can order the product right away. So another homework, so Whitney kind of touched base on this. This was creating your story. Kathy mentioned that when we all got back home from Celebration Canada, in order to be like basically a professional with your story, is write it down. And she wanted us to practice it 100 times in the next 60 days. Why? Because sometimes you can just ramble. Like she kind of said, you know, sometimes people like talking about themselves a lot, and sometimes people ramble on. That's great that you have this amazing story, but you know, sometimes people are looking for a solution themselves, and they're just looking to see if you can help them. It's great that you have this story and, you know, all these things happen to you, but finding whether or not you can help them and their life and enhance their situation is what they're really interested in. So getting clear on your story, writing it down, and practicing it verbally, being able to type it to people, and just being able to, like this Thursday, some of my team members and I are having a sip and sample, and some of the girls will be sharing their story. It's a perfect way for them to practice, as well as like really get it down pat. That's what you want to do, is get it down pat. Yes. So aside from your financial goal with Isagenix, what I also would like everyone to write down their rank goal. So by a certain date. So let's say, so everyone here has an Isaversary from the day that you signed up with your sponsor, and every year, like your account will renew. So that's just for me. That's one of my examples. I'm using, I want to be 3-star Crystal Executive Golden Circle by my 2-year Isaversary. So that's just an example, because I see it and I envision it. It's on my fridge. It's on my mirror. Like remember, seeing the target, you hit the target. So that's just an example. You can look up your Isaversary on your back office, or if you want it sooner, go right ahead. And mine's just fast approaching. And yeah, so set your rank goal. That's another thing. And you want to create a pivot in your business. So your energy, the enthusiasm of your team, and your execution. So those are things you really need to focus on. If you're someone that, you know, like as the girls mentioned, events are fun and people have FOMO and people want to join. Everyone wants to look good, feel good, and be surrounded by positivity. Nobody likes negativity, right? So Selena kind of touched base on this. The more enthusiasm you create in your team, the more people are going to want to, you know, the bigger the pivot in your business will be. Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. I think that's it. I think that's all I have for Kathy's leadership meeting. Oh no, wait, sorry, one last thing. So when Kathy touched base on, Whitney mentioned about the burning desire. So a lot of the times you might find yourself, if you're you're a business builder, if you find yourself, you know, focusing on people who don't really give a shit, who, you know, they don't care about their business, it's you kind of holding their hands. What's going to grow your business is when you focus and you link arms with people who want this, who have that burning desire. So when you ask them the question, you want to state, great. Like if you have this burning desire, out of a scale of 1 to 10, like how high is this burning desire? If they're like, oh, you know what, Samira, I'm a 9. Great. I only work with 9s and 10s. And that's what you need to focus on. You only want to work with people who are ready and committed for this business, because there's so many people that want this opportunity. And by expanding our network and constantly focusing on the 1s or 2s or the 3s, that's not going to cut it. Even the 8s, we need 9s and 10s. So I feel like that's wrapping it up. Like
That's so true. And that's something that I think that I struggled with, because with me, enrolling wasn't a huge issue. I mean, we all have our strong suits. Mine was enrolling, but then I was focusing so much effort into twos and threes, where I would let my nines and tens kind of not have as much love as they needed to. So that's something that I'm personally working on a lot more too. Focus on your nines and tens. Take people who want to run with it, grab them and go. People need to show you that they want to do this too. They can't say they're a nine and not do anything. They need to actually plan their launch parties. They want to do the calls. If someone says, yes, I'm a nine, but I don't want to do anything this month, then they're not a nine. So you say, if you want to do this, let's do it. If you don't, then let me know when you're ready, and I'll be here when you're ready.
And that's another thing. A lot of people on this call, like I'm just looking at the people logged in here. A lot of you have been with, you've been with Isagenix for a good amount of time. And that's the thing. Like you guys can sit here and log into this Zoom call, hear me, Selena, Pascal, Whitney, we can all talk and share all this knowledge with you because we went to this event. But at the end of the day, like, this is your business and this is my business. So I'm gonna put all of my effort into my business because I really want this. So you can sit here and listen to this call, but it's your business. I can't carry your business and my business, right? So really focus on what being a 9 and a 10 means for you.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, that was good, Samira. Does anyone have any quick questions for Samira? Okay, perfect. So if you have any questions at the end or you want to throw one in a chat, that's fine too. And now we're going to pass it off to the lovely Pascal. Oh, you're muted here. I unmuted you. You're good.
Oh, I'm good. I just wanted to talk, I'm just going to add to that last point that Samira sort of had, that you sort of want to pick your 9s and your 10s. Whenever you go to these events, it's so amazing because they really have informations for all types. So my business isn't as big as Whitney's, but I can still relate whatever they're saying to myself. Like, everybody takes away from them, from these speakers, to their own level of business and to their own interests as well. So Samira just talked about running with your 9s and your 10s. And that's super important because you want to find, they really emphasized on picking the people that you really want to run with, right? Your link arms and you're running fast and you're not planning to stop. And Jackson Parr did really say this. He said, it's great that, you pick those people that you're running with, but they also mention on, we have all these Isagenix millionaires. For myself, I follow Emily, like Emily, if I'm going to use her for example. So Emily Vavra, I follow her, see first on Facebook, and I see all her posts every day. So that's someone that I look up to, she's fitness, and PETA for organic foods and stuff. But that's people that I look up to, but those aren't the people that I linked arms with, right? So, I mean, I have Selena and I have Hannah and I have Samira and Whitney. Those are the girls that you link arms with. And at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones. I mean, Emily Barbara is not going to call me on a Saturday night and say, you got to get that enrolled by tomorrow night. It's going to be one of us, right? So it's going to be the people that's on your team. So that was just an add-on to what Samira just said, the last points. So what I'm going to talk to you about was how to cast the vision. So what is the vision? The vision, your vision might not be the same as someone else's vision, the person that you've enrolled. So to grow the business, you need to sort of expand. You need to expand your own business, but you want to expand their business as well, thus making it duplicatable, right? So then you can talk about residual income. So if you can duplicate it properly, then that's the route you really want to go. So by casting the vision, but you can't assume. So the one thing you don't want to do is assume. You can't assume that someone doesn't want to lose 10 pounds, or you can't assume that someone doesn't, maybe it's your friend and she always, she goes out a lot, or you buy a lot of clothes, or you travel a lot. You can't assume that they have money. Maybe A friend travels a lot, but she still has a student loan that she'd really like to pay off, right? So you can't assume that people don't need money. And you can't assume that your vision is the same as someone else's vision. I mean, my vision is to be a millionaire, but one of my in-rolls visions might be something else. So I can't assume that our visions are the same. So I need to cast that vision properly to her. So how do I do that? Pretty much step number one would be you share, they share. So I need to know, I think it's a 2.5 minute video on YouTube, Isagenix Canada, you share, they share. And it gives you all the sum, it gives you the little people. It's a 2.5 minute video that you should know by heart. And then you need to get your in-rolls to know this and explain this as well, right? Because that's how you get your business to grow. And but then that might come in a conversation. I might say, hey Hannah, like you need to, you want to make $1,000, or do you want to, what would $1,000 mean to you? And then it's about establishing relationships. Just because you have that in-roll, it doesn't mean you let that relationship that you've built, Whitney talked about this and Selena talked about this, you're building that relationship. And now because you've just enrolled them doesn't mean that you let that relationship go. You want them to duplicate that within other people, right? What they just did with you, you want them to be able to do that with other people. So you're casting the vision of the you share, they share. And then I think the you share, they share comes to like $960 something. I don't have it in front of me and I don't know the end part by heart. But it might be a trip for someone, or it might be Disneyland, or it might be, oh, my cat's gonna. I had a glass of water and my cat was on the table with her paw inside. So it might be, what was I saying about the vision casting? It might be, everyone's vision will be something different. So the you share, they share is super important. So to cast that vision in every enroll, once they become associates, or once they, so from preferred customers to associates, and then you cast the vision. Also, to cast the vision properly, you want to ask questions. People do like talk, people don't just like talking about themselves a little, people like talking about themselves a lot. So you ask them questions. You even can get people to try to teach you things. I mean, if one of the girls that I completely Facebook creeped, I found out that she's now been teaching yoga. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to one of your classes. So people love talking about themselves and they like teaching things to other people that they already know. So if you want to make that effort and attend one of their classes and start that relationship, I mean, that's the things that you have to do to build your own business. I could say, oh yeah, great. Like you teach yoga and not ever go to one of her classes, not build that relationship, and not even have that enroll. So I need to work towards that relationship. And then once I enroll her, and then you get to expand that relationship a little bit more, right? They may say no. They may say, like, if I would say, hey Samira, what would $1,000 mean to you, right? What would $960 mean to you? And then she'd say, oh yeah, it'd be great. And then Samira would say, well, what do I have to do? And then I'd say, well, you just have to share with 2 people. And then those 2 people need to share with those 2 people. And then that person's automatically hands up, says, I'm out, right? I don't want anything to do with that. Next thing you know, I'm going to be that person on Facebook that's selling stuff. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. But if you ask the proper questions and cast the vision in the way that they are craving it, their perspective on growing their own business will be completely different. So that's why asking the right questions and building those relationships are so important. And that's about it. I had the people pick your people and run with them, but that pretty much did that. And so once you'll notice that if you're someone that has a few consultants, maybe you're going to pick those consultants, right? And you're going to motivate each other to do better and hit these goals. You see your target and you hit it, and you're going to link arms and run towards, but it's all about doing these little things. Like I might be doing something different than what Selena's doing, and Selena might be doing something different that Samira is doing. But at the end of the day, you want to make it duplicable, like Whitney said, and you want to build these relationships. And that's why we have these team calls. So all these little things, like if you put all these 4 things together and then you sort of apply them, then your business is going to grow. And that's what events are all about. It's about applying these little things that people are talking to us about and then growing our own business. And that's why events are so amazing. I mean, we have fun, but we learn a lot too. And we all come back with books of notes that we apply to our daily lives. So that's the important part about events.
Yeah, so Pascal touched on some really great things. What I wanted to say too and add on is talking about people's financial why. At the end of Jackson's video, he talks about how you can use that cake recipe to also tap into why this extra income would be good for them as well. So when you're watching it, keep going, because once he's done the 7 steps, he's going to talk about that as well. So that's really important too, which is great, getting to know why this extra income would be beneficial for them. I mean, when I signed up, Jessica might not have ever thought that I would have needed the income, but I did, and you never really know. So always present that opportunity. Say, I'm obligated to tell you. Yeah. And also about your really building relationships. At first, I was kind of struggling with that with my follow-ups because I felt like after I had such a good transformation, I was getting a lot of people questioning me, and I had a big follow-up list, and I wasn't making really genuine connections because at first I wasn't using this cake recipe. I didn't know it. So I wasn't making these emotional connections with people. I was just kind of saying, word vomiting, this is what it is, this is how much it is, what are you eating now, blah, blah, blah. And then just keep them on my list and word vomit promos back to them, right? So a girl who I actually had on my follow-up list, she ends up talking to someone else too a little bit, because sometimes that happens. I kind of dabble in a couple people. And the other person she talked to she didn't have a huge follow-up list or anything, so she made all of her connections really genuine. She started hanging out with her, and she ends up enrolling with this other girl, which is fine. They built a friendship. Now that girl's a business builder and making really good money. So maybe if I would have just built a better connection, she would have stayed with me. You don't know that. So this cake recipe, building these connections, that's the backbone of your business. So that's something that I'm learning more of, because I'm a red. I don't know if you guys know that, and you guys take your the test, but I'm very logical, and I kind of don't tap into people's emotions as much as I should. And that's something that I'm working on. I'm just kind of like, why wouldn't you do it? Like, you're saving money. You want to lose weight. Like, hello. So the emotional part.
Your business background. For those of you who don't know, Whitney has a bachelor's degree in business.
Yeah, business.
It's your business. You're logical, eh?
Yeah, I'm like, why not? Like 1 + 1 is 2. Anyway, so I just want to touch base on that. That's awesome. You guys all did so good. I hope you guys learned a lot. There's just something quickly I'm going to go over. So if you go on Alexis, I'll send her name to our group chat. I don't know how to say her last name, Brawley, whatever. They just did a live about ISA Rally. So I want you guys to all go watch it, because they did a Q&A, so it's kind of going over everything. So for you guys who don't know what ISA Rally is, I made a poll in Team Freedom, who wants to go to Global Celebration for free. So the ISA Rally, you make a team of 5 people. You can win a round trip to Nashville, each person, 4 nights hotel, celebration ticket, and there's other perks as well. So you can win as a team, and you can actually win. If your team doesn't win, you can also win as an individual if you have high points. So this is something I suggest all of us get teams going. If we get enough, if we get about 4 teams within Team Freedom, I'll even do extra contests as well. But I'm telling you guys, if you guys want to be on a team, you need to be committed, because I'm just saying, as like my red coming out, you don't want to let your team down. And not saying that you getting no points is bad. If you're there and you're working and you're helping and you're trying, that's amazing. That's so good. But if you're going to go on there and you want to be inactive in the next 2 months, then don't even bother, because you want to help each other. The point of these teams is you really grow together, you learn together. So the contest period, it's April 2nd to June 24th, and you can register your team till April 22nd. So that's what I wanted to say. 5 people max. Get your team, get people on your team, because it goes by enrollment, but it also goes by team growth. So as you and your consultants are growing, that's good. That's good for your business. You don't need to be, everyone's on a level playing field. It's not like because I'm higher ranked, that means that whoever's on my team's going to win. That's not true. So I just want to say that. Because I remember even last time, Selena and I were on the same team, and Selena and I had almost the exact same points the whole time. So
yeah, and I was like super, like, they asked me to be on their team, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to like deceive them. I'm not going to get as many enrolls as people. And I was like the second one to have the most points. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was sick. It was great. You did so good. Okay, so don't, just believe in yourself. And it's so fun because you make little group chats with your teams and you guys help each other. And yeah, and then we'll do other contests within. So if you think that global celebration is something you want to do, but maybe you can't afford, definitely try and tap into this. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And like Samira said, 2 weeks left, less than 2 weeks actually. So April 29th to hit Crystal Director. Those of you who don't know, that's 6 consultants. Doesn't matter which leg, but you need 6 consultants total. If you use what we taught you right now, just in this 50 minutes, you can put this into your team. The important thing is not just you learning it yourself. Teach this to everyone you enroll. Show them the cake recipe. Show them what to do. Help them reach out to people. You want, as soon as you enroll people, who are 3 to 5 people you know who could benefit, let's get them on the phone. What are you doing this weekend? Let's have a launch party. Let's do all these things, help them hit consultant. So that is a bonus of 1. It's doubled. So for those of you who don't know, I think, Nicole, you might not have known this yet, until they had it half the time, but double the bonus. So it's like a reset. You'll have longer to hit the regular Crystal Director bonus, Nicole, but this is a double bonus. So you get 1,664 plus your $660 for your consultants. And that's not counting PIBs, double PIBs, cycles, nothing else. That's $2,324 you get if you hit Crystal Director in the next, a minimum in the next 2 weeks. And then 6 weeks for Crystal Executive. So say you hit Crystal Director, now you want to hit Crystal Executive. The bonus for that is $2,220 plus you get an extra $440 for the other 4 consultants, because you need 10 consultants. So we 5 on one side, 5 on the other. You need to make sure they're on the right leg. So for 10 consultants, Crystal Director bonus and Crystal Exec bonus, that's an extra $5,000. Think about in the next.
Insane.
I think it's more than that, isn't it?
For your 10, no, so 1,664 bonus for Director, $2,220 bonus for Exec, and then 10 consultants, so 660 plus 440. That's $4,984.
That doesn't count like double PIBs or cycles or nothing.
Yeah, like, not double PIBs. And that's only for 10 consultants. You're likely, if you're getting a roll going, you're going to probably create more. And that's $110 per consultant, no matter what. But like $5,000, think about that. In the next 6 weeks, on top of PIBs, double PIBs, enrolling people, an extra $5,000. This is something you guys should be taking so seriously. This is something that's amazing, and Isagenix did for you. They didn't need to do this Crystal Reset, half the time, double the bonus. So I suggest getting our booties to work, going to reach out to people we enrolled before. I know I'm doing that. You guys really, I know Samira is running for Exec. I know people on here who are running for Director. Just put in work. If you guys just be consistent. Don't take time off, okay? I know some of us, we get up in the morning and we're like, oh, I'm just going to chill, watch some Netflix, whatever. How about instead of that, you pour time into your team, do a call, go out and meet people, prospect, go print off your Facebook list. There's never something you shouldn't be doing. So if you guys want this bonus, reach out to your sponsor, say, I want this bonus, I want this $5,000. How the hell do I do it? And they'll help you. So that's what I wanted to say.
And as coaches, it's our obligation to share the products and the business. I know that's what delayed my business at first. I just assumed, they wouldn't do the business. And I was like that at first too. I told Samira, I want nothing to do with the business. Don't even talk to me about it. Next thing you know, I lost my job, my permanent job. And the next thing you know, Samira messaged me the next day, hey, you've been using the products for 2 months. Do you want to get your products paid for? I'm like, yeah, I need money.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You never know what's going on in someone's life. They might say no now, but they might say yes later.
Woo! What were you going to say, Samira?
One last thing I wanted to touch on. Oh, where was it? Okay, so I want you guys to just visualize this. You only need 30 enrolls to hit executive. So you enroll 10 people and those 10 people enroll 2 people each. Just think about that. 30 people. So 10 people with 2 friends. That's it. That's it. Like, what? That's your key to $5,000.
Exactly. And this is something, I'm not even kidding you. Executive, like I said in the group, executive is where you want to be. Executive is your ultimate goal. It's the highest leadership other than 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. But executive, you can start earning in huge pools. You get your cool gold little thing at the events. Like, you're earning way more money. Your bonus is amazing, obviously. So this is something all of you guys always gone for executive. Yeah, I get fired up about executive. So yeah, I want to open the floor. I want this to be our team calls. I'm going to put them back on Mondays, but I want them to be conversational. Like, it's great that we give you these tips, but I really want you guys to ask questions if you have any. And the reason that we created Team Freedom was because Holly's Team Moby group is amazing, but it was getting so big that on team calls, a lot of people told me and other members that they were uncomfortable asking questions. And I don't want that to be this way for this. I want it to be everyone open, everyone wanting to ask questions. You can direct it to anybody on the call. Obviously, we want to keep it nice and whatever, but if you guys have any questions and you guys want other opinions, this is the place to do it. So I'm opening the floor if anyone has any questions, if anyone even wants to give any tips, then, or maybe something to share, something that you did this week that you found really helped your business. That's great too, because we all want to help our businesses, right? So I'm going to open up the floor.
Hey guys. I know this was mentioned a long time ago, but I was wondering about the new member checklist. It was mentioned briefly, but I was like, what is this? Do I know about this? So if someone can elaborate on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I don't know, Samir, are you trying to talk because you're muted, I think?
I think you can Google it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
If you go on isogenicsbusiness.com, type new member checklist, you'll find the checklist right away. And that's amazing. Once you enroll someone, within 24 to 48 hours, do the new member checklist. So it makes sure that they register for the IsoBody Challenge, download the IsoPulse and the IsoLife app, talk about isomovie.com, isobusiness.com. It's a checklist of things to do for the success of your prospect. So it's a whole bunch of things.
I'm going to make a file and I'm going to put it, I actually have like a list of things that I'm going to do tomorrow. One of them is make a file with a new member checklist. So what I encourage everyone to do, because I think within all of our team, it's not just Team Freedom, Team Moby, Dream Big, all of these teams, it kind of got lost because the old one wasn't the best and now it's really good. So we really want to make sure that we're implementing this, because if I don't do it to my enroll, they're not going to do it to their enroll, they're not going to do it to their enroll. So this is something that I'm starting to do as of now a lot more. I want you guys to study it with your sponsor if you don't know it yet, because I found when we did it with Kathy Coover, you can do it one of two ways. So you can sit there and just go, okay, question. And you should get in person when you do it as well, they said, but if you can't, do it on Zoom or do a phone call. Okay, question 1, blah, blah, blah. Question 2, blah, blah, blah. And it can be really monotone and not as emotional, but we got partnered up. We went and found people we didn't know, and we went through these questions with them, but we made it a conversation, and that's what's so important. So if you learn this new member checklist and you start being able to have it flow as a conversation, okay, not how much are you looking to earn a month? Okay, cool, you write it down. And what could that do for your family? And then write it down. And then instead of just having it as an ongoing conversation, oh my gosh, like whatever, you know what I mean? So if you practice this with your sponsor, so who enrolled you again, Jenna? Was it Samira?
Jessica.
Pardon?
Jessica did.
Okay, awesome. So say Jess, and maybe Jess doesn't know. And if Jess doesn't know, then reach out to Samira, and maybe the 3 of you can get on a Zoom call with Samira, and you guys can practice it with each other, or go in person and practice it with each other, because this is going to be really good. This is also when you can dig into their why. This is post-enroll. So this is once you already found out all the information. So then once you already know a lot about them, then you can kind of gauge the conversation. Oh, I know you told me that you wanted to lose this much weight. Well, whatever. So just go over it. You'll see what I mean. And make sure you practice it before you do it for the first time. Or get, if you have one coming up tomorrow, a call, get Samira to jump on with you and she can show you how to do it, if that makes sense.
I also just posted the link in Team Freedom if anybody wants it for the new member checklist.
Perfect. Thanks.
Wait, can I add to that too?
Yeah.
So she just mentioned it, like, don't just treat it as a checklist, like treat it as a conversation starter, but you really want to, maybe there's some areas where you might want to go more in depth, like to really create that bond and to create that relationship. I mean, maybe you'll have someone really fit that they don't want to lose 30 pounds. So maybe you're not going to spend as much time on those parts. And maybe, you're going to spend more time on finding what their goal is or what they have to do to achieve their goal. Maybe it is working out 7 days a week if they want to gain muscle mass. So you really want to, every person's going to be completely different. And every time, like, try to better yourself as well as asking these questions and asking and trying to relate to them. So every time you do it with someone else, sort of critique yourself on how you ask the questions and how did you feel too when you were asking these questions? Did you feel uncomfortable? Did you feel maybe you didn't know as much about the product? Did you feel maybe you could have, related it to something, or you could have asked a better question, or you could have had more information? So critique yourself too when you're doing it. So then the next one will be even better than the first one.
Yeah, it's all a learning process too. Every time you do this, it gets uncomfortable, and sometimes people might not like the questions, and that's fine, but that's why we practice, and that's why we do it with everybody, because then you learn how to step out of your comfort zone, right? And that's what it's all about. So that's a really good question. Does anyone else have any questions? Or these are things that I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to make the file for the 7 steps, and I'm going to post the link. I'm going to post the 5 questions to develop your story and your through your story. I'm going to post a new member checklist, and I'm going to post a couple of videos for You Share, They Share. Does that sound good? Yeah. Anything else you guys want me to add? What?
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Well, wow, we did it in an hour. That's kind of impressive. All 4 of us shared our quick details, and we did questions and ISA rally. Woo!
Sunday, register your teams.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to say. So who hasn't hit consultant yet on here? It might just be Nicole, I think. Nicole's new. Hey, Nicole. So normally the consultant bonus, you get your PIBs, and then you get a $55 consultant bonus. That $55 consultant bonus is, which I meant to mention to all of you guys again, just to remind you, has doubled from 55 to 110 until the end of the promotion, so May 27th, until you can hit Crystal Exec. So the rest of the time that you can create these 10 consultants, the bonus for that consultant is double. That is so much more incentive for you to create these consultants. So now instead of 55, 110 on top of their PIBs and double PIBs. So that should be something you should be mentioning to every single person. Listen, we want to get you to hit this though before May 27th, because you're going to miss out on a $110 bonus. It's going to be 55 afterwards, if that makes sense. All right, I just wanted to say that. So everyone have a great night, and thanks for jumping on.
Bye.
Have a good night.